Ever feel like you're behind in life? The audiobook, Train Your Mind to Win, brutally honest advice for those feeling behind, is your roadmap to success. Ditch the self-help fluff and dive into science-backed strategies that rewire your brain, ignite motivation, and build unshakable confidence. Don't let procrastination and self-doubt hold you back. Embrace this journey, or risk watching others achieve the life you've always wanted. Before we go on, I invite you to download the free bundle, which contains the ebook version of this book and an executive summary of all the chapters with the key takeaways. Studies show that engaging with content through multiple formats significantly enhances learning and retention. Click on the first link in the description to claim your free bundle now and maximize your learning potential. Now it's free, but it won't be for long, so make sure to grab it while you can. Chapter 1: The Ambition Trap. The race was on, and you were falling behind. At least, that's how it felt. As you scrolled through your social media feed, a familiar knot formed in your stomach. There was Jake, your college roommate, smiling in front of his newly purchased home. Sarah from high school just landed a promotion at a Fortune 500 company. And Alex? Well, Alex was vacationing in Bali, living their best digital nomad life. Meanwhile, you sat at your desk, surrounded by half-finished projects and a growing to-do list, wondering where you went wrong. Sound familiar? Welcome to the ambition trap, where the view of success is always greener on the other side of the fence. This constant feeling of being left in the dust isn't just uncomfortable, it's paralyzing. It breeds anxiety, fuels self-doubt, and often leads to self-sabotaging behaviors that only widen the perceived gap between where you are and where you think you should be. But here's the truth. This race you're running, it's an illusion, and it's time to break free from its grip. In this chapter, we're going to dive deep into why high achievers often feel like they're perpetually playing catch-up. We'll explore the psychological underpinnings of social comparison, unpack the cognitive distortions that keep you stuck, and begin to lay the groundwork for a more empowering mindset. By the end, you'll have a clearer understanding of why you feel behind and the first tools to start charting your own course forward. Let's start by understanding the root of this pervasive feeling. Social comparison is a natural human tendency, but in today's hyper-connected world, it's been supercharged. We're constantly bombarded with curated highlights of others' lives and achievements. It's as if we're all actors in a global performance, and everyone else seems to have better lines, better costumes, and better stage directions. This comparison isn't just surface level, it seeps into our core, affecting how we view our worth and potential. When we see peers achieving milestones we haven't reached, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking we're somehow deficient. This is where social comparison theory comes into play. Developed by psychologist Leon Festinger in 1954, this theory posits that we determine our own social and personal worth based on how we stack up against others. The problem intensifies when we engage in upward comparisons, looking at those who seem more accomplished or successful than us. These comparisons can spark envy, self-doubt, and a paralyzing sense of inferiority. You might find yourself thinking, if they can do it, why can't I? Or, I should be further along by now. These thoughts aren't just passing concerns. They can have long-lasting impacts on your self-esteem and motivation. Consider the last time you felt a pang of envy scrolling through LinkedIn. That momentary feeling isn't just unpleasant. It can chip away at your confidence over time. Repeated exposure to others' successes, especially when you're feeling vulnerable about your own progress, can lead to a chronic state of self-doubt. You might start questioning your abilities, your choices, and even your worth as a professional or individual. This self-doubt doesn't exist in a vacuum. It has real, tangible effects on your motivation and performance. When you constantly feel like you're falling short, it becomes harder to muster the energy and enthusiasm needed to pursue your goals. You might find yourself hesitating to take risks or pursue opportunities, fearing that you're not ready or good enough. This hesitation can become a self-fulfilling prophecy, further reinforcing the belief that you're behind. But here's where it gets interesting, and where we start to see the cracks in this comparison-driven narrative. The benchmarks we use to measure our progress are often unrealistic and arbitrary. They're based on societal expectations, cultural norms, or even algorithms that decide what success looks like in our feeds. These benchmarks rarely take into account the unique circumstances, challenges, and aspirations that shape each individual's journey. This is where cognitive distortions come into play, warping our perception of reality and exacerbating our feelings of inadequacy. One of the most insidious of these distortions is all-or-nothing thinking. This is the belief that you're either a complete success or a total failure, with no middle ground. In the context of feeling behind, it manifests as thoughts like, if I haven't achieved X by age Y, I'm a failure. Or, since I'm not as successful as Z, I must be doing everything wrong. All-or-nothing thinking traps you in a binary world where nuance and personal growth have no place. It discounts the progress you've made and the unique value you bring to the table. Moreover, it sets you up for constant disappointment because life rarely fits into neat success or failure categories. Another cognitive distortion that fuels the feeling of being behind is magnification. This is the tendency to exaggerate the importance of your shortcomings while minimizing your achievements. A small setback becomes catastrophic evidence of your inadequacy, while significant accomplishments are brushed off as flukes or not good enough. For instance, you might land a new job that's a step up in your career, but instead of celebrating, you fixate on the fact that it's not at your dream company. Or you might complete a challenging project, only to immediately focus on the one small aspect that didn't go perfectly. This magnification of perceived failures and minimization of successes creates a skewed reality where you always come up short. The emotional toll of these distortions is significant. Constantly feeling like you're not measuring up can lead to chronic stress, anxiety, and even depression. It can erode your self-confidence, making it harder to recognize and capitalize on opportunities when they do arise. Over time, this negative self-perception can become a self-fulfilling prophecy, holding you back from taking the risks and making the moves that could lead to genuine growth and success. But the impact doesn't stop at your emotional state. These distorted thought patterns often lead to self-sabotaging behaviors that can actively hinder your progress. One common manifestation is overworking out of fear. When you feel like you're falling behind, there's a temptation to work longer hours, take on more projects, and push yourself to the brink in an attempt to catch up. This compulsion to overwork might seem productive on the surface, but it often leads to burnout and diminished focus. You might find yourself working more hours but accomplishing less, as your efficiency and creativity suffer from exhaustion. Moreover, this relentless push can come at the cost of other important aspects of your life, relationships, health, and personal interests that contribute to your overall well-being and, ironically, your long-term success. On the flip side, the overwhelming feeling of being behind can also lead to procrastination. It might seem counterintuitive, but when the gap between where you are and where you think you should be feels insurmountable, it's easy to become paralyzed. The fear of not measuring up can be so intense that you avoid taking action altogether. This procrastination often stems from a paradoxical mix of perfectionism and fear of failure. You want to succeed so badly that you set impossibly high standards for yourself. Then, faced with the daunting task of meeting those standards, you delay, telling yourself you'll start when conditions are perfect or when you feel more prepared. Of course, those perfect conditions never arrive, and you find yourself stuck in a cycle of avoidance and self-recrimination. The tragedy of this situation is that it creates a self-reinforcing cycle. The more you procrastinate, the further behind you feel, which in turn increases your anxiety and makes it even harder to start. It's a vicious loop that can leave you feeling helpless and stuck. But here's the good news. Understanding these patterns is the first step to breaking free from them. By recognizing the distortions in your thinking and the self-sabotaging behaviors they lead to, you're already beginning to loosen their grip on your life and your potential. The key to escaping the ambition trap lies in reframing your understanding of success and progress. It starts with accepting that personal and professional development is not a linear journey. Life doesn't follow a predetermined timeline, and success doesn't have a universal definition. Instead of viewing your path as a straight line that you're falling behind on, imagine it as a unique, winding road. This road has its own twists, turns, and scenic routes. Sometimes you might take a detour that seems like a setback, but actually teaches you valuable lessons. Other times, you might make rapid progress in ways you never anticipated. Embracing this non-linear view of progress can be incredibly liberating. It relieves the pressure of arbitrary deadlines and allows you to appreciate the journey itself, not just the destination. When you stop measuring your worth against others' timelines, you create space for authentic growth and self-discovery. This shift in perspective doesn't mean abandoning ambition or lowering your standards. Rather, it's about redefining what success means to you personally. It's about setting goals that align with your values and aspirations, not societal expectations or the highlight reels of others. To start this process, take some time to reflect on what truly matters to you. What are your core values? What kind of impact do you want to have on the world? What brings you genuine fulfillment? These questions can help you establish personal markers of success that are meaningful and motivating. As you begin to chart your own course, it's crucial to acknowledge the thought patterns and habits that have been holding you back. Recognizing your tendencies toward all-or-nothing thinking, magnification of failures, or procrastination is not about self-criticism. It's about gaining clarity and preparing yourself for change. This awareness sets the stage for the transformative journey ahead. In the coming chapters, we'll explore powerful strategies to reshape your mindset, boost your confidence, and take consistent action toward your goals. You'll learn how to cultivate a growth mindset that thrives on challenges, build unshakable self-efficacy, and develop the resilience to persist in the face of setbacks. Remember, the feeling of being behind is just that, a feeling. It's not an objective reality. By understanding the psychological traps that create this perception and beginning to question its validity, you're already taking the first steps toward a more empowering and authentic approach to personal growth. As we move forward, keep in mind that this journey is about progress, not perfection. Each step you take in reframing your perspective and challenging old thought patterns is a victory in itself. You're not just catching up, you're forging a path that's uniquely yours. In the next chapter, we'll delve deeper into the power of mindset and how it shapes every aspect of your personal and professional development. You'll discover why the way you think about your abilities and potential is often more important than the abilities themselves. Get ready to unlock a new level of understanding about yourself and your capacity for growth. The ambition trap may have held you back, but it doesn't define your future. As you turn the page to the next chapter, you're not just reading, you're taking the first step on a transformative journey. A journey where you set the pace, define the milestones, and ultimately rewrite the rules of what it means to succeed on your own terms. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to Grow to the Top and activate notifications to receive more self-improvement tips that will supercharge your growth. And make sure to give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. It really helps the channel grow. Thank you for your support. Chapter 2, Mindset Matters. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to thrive in the face of challenges while others crumble? Why do certain individuals bounce back from failures with renewed determination, while others give up at the first sign of difficulty? The answer, as it turns out, lies not in innate talent or luck, but in something far more powerful, and surprisingly, within your control. As we delve into this chapter, we'll uncover a fundamental truth that has the potential to revolutionize the way you approach your personal and professional life. It's a concept so transformative that it has the power to turn obstacles into opportunities and setbacks into stepping stones. But before we reveal this game-changing idea, let's set the stage by exploring a common scenario that many of us have faced. Imagine you're tackling a new project at work. It's challenging, pushing you beyond your comfort zone. As you struggle with unfamiliar tasks, doubt begins to creep in. Maybe I'm not cut out for this, you think. What if I'm just not smart enough? These thoughts aren't just fleeting worries, they represent a deeper belief system that shapes how you interpret and respond to the world around you. This belief system is what psychologists call your mindset, and it plays a crucial role in determining your success and happiness. But what exactly is a mindset, and why does it matter so much? At its core, your mindset is the collection of beliefs and attitudes you hold about yourself and the world. It's the lens through which you interpret experiences, challenges, and opportunities. And here's the kicker. Your mindset isn't just a passive observer of your life. It's an active participant, shaping your behaviors, decisions, and ultimately, your outcomes. Now, you might be thinking, that's all well and good, but I am who I am. My abilities are what they are. How can changing my mindset really make a difference? This very thought is at the heart of what we're about to explore. You see, there are two primary types of mindsets that people tend to adopt: a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. Understanding the difference between these two mindsets is crucial because it determines how you view your abilities, how you approach challenges, and how you respond to failure. Let's start with the fixed mindset. If you have a fixed mindset, you believe that your qualities are carved in stone. Your intelligence, personality, and talents are fixed traits, unchangeable no matter how much effort you put in. This belief leads to a constant need to prove yourself, to show that you have these fixed qualities in abundance. People with a fixed mindset often shy away from challenges because they're afraid of failure. They see effort as fruitless, or even as a sign that they're not naturally talented. When they encounter obstacles, they tend to give up easily. They feel threatened by the success of others, seeing it as a reminder of their own inadequacies. On the other hand, the growth mindset is based on the belief that your basic qualities can be cultivated through effort. While people may differ in their initial talents, aptitudes, and temperaments, everyone can change and grow through application and experience. Individuals with a growth mindset believe that their most basic abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. They see brains and talent as just the starting point. This view creates a love of learning and a resilience that is essential for great accomplishment. Now, you might be wondering, how did these mindsets come to be understood? The concept of fixed and growth mindsets was pioneered by Stanford psychologist Carol Dweck. Through decades of research, Dweck and her colleagues demonstrated that people's beliefs about their own intelligence have a significant impact on their motivation, effort, and approach to challenges. In one seminal study, Dweck and her team worked with elementary school students. They gave the students a series of increasingly difficult puzzles to solve. Some students relished the challenge, becoming more engaged as the puzzles got harder. Others became discouraged and gave up quickly. The difference? Their mindset. The students who embraced the challenge believed that they could improve their abilities through effort. They saw the difficult puzzles as an opportunity to learn and grow. In contrast, the students who gave up easily believed that their intelligence was fixed. They saw the challenging puzzles as a threat to their self-image, a potential revelation of their limitations. This study, along with many others, revealed a profound truth. Your beliefs about yourself can create self-fulfilling prophecies. If you believe your abilities are fixed, you're more likely to avoid challenges and give up easily, which in turn reinforces your belief in your limitations. If you believe you can grow and improve, you're more likely to embrace challenges and persist in the face of setbacks, which leads to actual growth and improvement. But the impact of mindset goes far beyond how we approach puzzles or academic challenges. It influences every aspect of our lives, from our careers to our relationships, from how we parent to how we lead. Consider how a fixed mindset might manifest in your professional life. If you believe your abilities are set in stone, you might avoid taking on new responsibilities at work for fear of failure. You might see constructive feedback as criticism and become defensive rather than using it as an opportunity to improve. You might feel threatened by colleagues who excel in areas where you struggle, rather than seeing them as potential mentors or collaborators. Now, imagine approaching your career with a growth mindset. Challenges become opportunities to learn and develop new skills. Feedback, even if it's critical, becomes valuable information to help you improve. The success of others inspires you rather than threatens you because you know that with effort and persistence, you too can grow and achieve. The power of mindset becomes even more apparent when we look at how it influences our response to failure. For those with a fixed mindset, failure is devastating. It's not just a setback, it's a judgment on their fundamental abilities and worth. This often leads to giving up, making excuses, or blaming others. In contrast, those with a growth mindset see failure differently. They view it as a painful experience, certainly, but also as a chance to learn and improve. They analyze what went wrong, adjust their approach, and try again. This resilience in the face of setbacks is a crucial factor in long-term success. But here's where it gets really interesting. Your mindset isn't set in stone. Just as you can develop your skills and abilities, you can also cultivate a growth mindset. This is where the real transformative power lies. The first step in developing a growth mindset is becoming aware of your current thought patterns. Start paying attention to your inner dialogue, especially when you face challenges or setbacks. Do you hear yourself saying things like, "I'm just not good at this," or "I'll never be able to do that"? These are telltale signs of a fixed mindset at work. Once you've identified these fixed mindset thoughts, you can begin to challenge and reframe them. This is where the power of yet comes into play. It's a simple word, but it has the potential to dramatically shift your perspective. When you catch yourself thinking, "I can't do this," add yet to the end of the sentence. "I can't do this yet." This small addition acknowledges that while you may not have mastered the skill or overcome the challenge at this moment, you have the potential to do so in the future with effort and persistence. This shift from "I can't" to "I can't yet" opens up possibilities. It transforms a statement of permanent limitation into one of temporary difficulty. It implies that with effort, practice, and time, you can develop the ability you currently lack. The power of yet extends beyond self-talk. It can be a valuable tool in how you communicate with others, especially if you're in a leadership or mentoring role. Instead of telling someone, "You're not ready for this project," you might say, "You're not ready for this project yet. Let's work on developing the skills you need." This approach acknowledges current limitations while also expressing confidence in the person's ability to grow and improve. But developing a growth mindset isn't just about changing your language. It's about changing your approach to challenges and learning opportunities. It means embracing difficulties rather than avoiding them, seeking out feedback rather than shying away from it, and persisting in the face of setbacks rather than giving up. This is where the neuroscience of mindset comes into play, and it's fascinating stuff. Recent studies have shown that individuals with a growth mindset display different patterns of brain activity when faced with challenges and errors compared to those with a fixed mindset. In one study, researchers used electroencephalography, EEG, to measure the brain activity of participants as they completed a task and received feedback on their performance. They found that individuals with a growth mindset showed a greater neural response to both positive and negative feedback. In other words, their brains were more attuned to information that could help them learn and improve. Moreover, when individuals with a growth mindset made mistakes, they showed increased activity in brain regions associated with deep cognitive processing. This suggests that they were engaging more deeply with their errors, likely in an effort to understand and learn from them. In contrast, individuals with a fixed mindset showed less neural activity in response to feedback, particularly negative feedback. When they made mistakes, they showed less cognitive engagement, as if they were trying to disengage from the error rather than learn from it. These findings have profound implications. They suggest that adopting a growth mindset doesn't just change your thoughts, It actually changes how your brain processes information and responds to challenges. By embracing a growth mindset, you're not just adopting a more positive attitude, you're training your brain to become more responsive to learning opportunities. But how do you put this into practice? How do you start rewiring your brain for growth? It starts with conscious effort and consistent practice. Here are some strategies you can begin implementing right away. First, start paying attention to your self-talk. When you face a challenge or make a mistake, what's your immediate reaction? Do you berate yourself, or do you view it as a learning opportunity? Simply becoming aware of your thought patterns is the first step in changing them. Next, practice reframing your thoughts. When you catch yourself thinking in fixed mindset terms, consciously reframe the thought in growth mindset terms. For example, if you think, "I'm terrible at public speaking," reframe it as, "Public speaking is a skill I can improve with practice." Another powerful strategy is to focus on the process rather than the outcome. Instead of fixating on whether you succeed or fail at a task, focus on what you're learning from the experience. Ask yourself questions like, "What can I learn from this?" Or, "How can I improve next time?" Seek out challenges and new experiences. Remember, your brain grows stronger when it's pushed out of its comfort zone. By regularly tackling new challenges, you're not just developing new skills, you're reinforcing the belief that you can grow and improve. Embrace effort and struggle. In a growth mindset, effort isn't seen as a sign of inadequacy, but as a necessary part of learning and growth. Remind yourself that struggle means you're pushing yourself to improve, not that you're failing. Cultivate a learning orientation. Approach tasks with the primary goal of learning rather than performing. This shift in focus can help reduce anxiety and increase your willingness to take on challenges. Use the power of yet. When you find yourself saying, "I can't do this," add yet to the end of the sentence. This simple addition can shift your perspective from one of permanent limitation to one of growth potential. Finally, celebrate growth over achievement. While it's important to acknowledge achievements, make sure you're also celebrating the effort, progress, and learning that went into those achievements. This reinforces the value of the growth process itself. As you begin to implement these strategies, you may find that your approach to challenges and setbacks begins to shift. You might notice that you're more willing to take on difficult tasks, that you're less discouraged by failures, and that you're more persistent in the face of obstacles. But here's the really exciting part. As your mindset shifts, you may start to notice changes in other areas of your life as well. Your relationships might improve as you become more open to feedback and less threatened by the success of others. Your career might take off as you embrace new challenges and persist in the face of difficulties. Your overall well-being might increase as you become more resilient and less stressed by setbacks. This is the true power of mindset. It's not just about how you think, it's about how you live. A growth mindset opens up a world of possibilities, allowing you to continually learn, grow, and achieve in ways you might never have thought possible. As we close this chapter, I want you to remember that developing a growth mindset is a journey, not a destination. It's not about achieving perfection or never having moments of self-doubt. It's about consistently choosing to see challenges as opportunities, effort as the path to mastery, and setbacks as chances to learn and grow. In the next chapter, we'll explore another crucial element in your journey of personal growth and achievement. It's a quality that's closely linked to mindset, one that can propel you forward even when the going gets tough. Are you ready to unlock the secret to unwavering self-belief and unstoppable momentum? Turn the page and let's dive in. Chapter 3: Cultivate Confidence. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to radiate an aura of assurance, tackling challenges with unwavering belief in their abilities? What if I told you that this kind of confidence isn't just a personality trait, but a skill that can be developed and honed over time? As we embark on this chapter, we're about to uncover a powerful secret that lies at the heart of personal and professional success. It's a quality that goes beyond mere self-esteem or positive thinking. In fact, it's something far more potent and actionable. But before we reveal this game-changing concept, let's consider a common scenario. Picture yourself facing a daunting task at work or in your personal life. Your heart races, your palms sweat, and a voice in your head whispers, "Can I really do this?" This moment of self-doubt is universal, but how you respond to it can make all the difference in your journey towards success. What we're about to explore is not just about feeling good about yourself. It's about developing a deep-seated belief in your ability to affect outcomes, to navigate challenges, and to achieve your goals. This belief is the cornerstone of true confidence, and it's something you can cultivate systematically. At its core, what we're talking about is self-efficacy. Now, you might be wondering, what exactly is self-efficacy, and how is it different from general confidence? Self-efficacy is your belief in your capacity to execute behaviors necessary to produce specific performance attainments. In simpler terms, it's your conviction that you can successfully perform a particular task or cope with a specific situation. Unlike general self-esteem, which is a broad evaluation of your overall worth, self-efficacy is task-specific. You might have high self-efficacy when it comes to your job skills, but lower self-efficacy in social situations, for example. The beauty of self-efficacy is that it can be developed and strengthened in any area of your life. Why does this matter? Because self-efficacy is a powerful predictor of success. When you believe in your ability to accomplish something, you're more likely to put in the effort, persist in the face of obstacles, and ultimately achieve your goals. It's not just about feeling confident, it's about having a realistic assessment of your capabilities and the conviction to act on them. This concept was pioneered by psychologist Albert Bandura, who identified 4 key sources of self-efficacy. As we delve into each of these sources, you'll begin to see how you can actively build your self-efficacy and, by extension, your overall confidence. The first and most influential source of self-efficacy is what Bandura called mastery experiences. These are instances where you successfully perform a task or overcome a challenge. Each time you accomplish something, no matter how small, you're building evidence of your capability. This evidence becomes a foundation for belief in your future success. But here's the key. These mastery experiences don't have to be monumental achievements. In fact, starting with small, achievable goals is often the most effective way to build self-efficacy. Think about learning a new skill. You don't start with the most complex tasks. You begin with the basics and gradually increase the difficulty. For instance, if you're trying to build confidence in public speaking, you might start by speaking up more in team meetings. As you become comfortable with that, you could volunteer to give a presentation to a small group. Each successful experience becomes a building block for your self-efficacy. The second source of self-efficacy is social modeling. This involves observing others similar to yourself succeed through sustained effort. When you see someone you relate to accomplishing something, it reinforces your belief that you too can succeed in similar endeavors. This is why representation matters in various fields. When people see others like themselves succeeding in a particular domain, it expands their sense of what's possible for them. However, it's crucial to choose realistic role models. While it's inspiring to admire high achievers, comparing yourself to someone at the pinnacle of their field might be counterproductive if you're just starting out. Instead, look for people who are a few steps ahead of where you are now. Their success feels more attainable and provides a roadmap you can follow. As you progress, you can gradually shift your focus to more advanced role models. The third source of self-efficacy is verbal persuasion. This refers to the impact of encouragement and positive feedback from others. When people you trust express faith in your abilities, it can boost your own belief in yourself. However, it's important to note that this verbal persuasion is most effective when it's realistic and specific. Vague praise like "you're great" is less impactful than specific feedback like "your presentation was well structured and your delivery was clear and engaging." The latter provides concrete evidence of your capabilities. Building a support network of people who believe in you and provide constructive feedback can significantly enhance your self-efficacy. This network might include mentors, peers, friends, or family members who understand your goals and can offer genuine encouragement. The fourth source of self-efficacy involves managing your emotional and physical states. Your mood, stress levels, and physical condition all influence how you feel about your abilities. When you're well-rested, in a positive mood, and feeling physically strong, you're more likely to feel confident in your capabilities. This is why self-care isn't just about feeling good. It's an integral part of building and maintaining self-efficacy. Learning to manage stress, practicing relaxation techniques, and maintaining your physical health all contribute to a stronger sense of self-efficacy. Now that we understand the sources of self-efficacy, let's explore how we can actively cultivate it. One powerful approach involves cognitive techniques drawn from cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. A key CBT technique for building self-efficacy is challenging negative self-talk. We all have an inner critic, that voice that points out our flaws and doubts our abilities. The first step in overcoming this critic is to become aware of it. Start paying attention to your internal dialogue, especially when you're facing challenges or considering taking on new tasks. Once you've identified negative self-talk, the next step is to challenge it. This doesn't mean simply replacing negative thoughts with positive ones. Instead, it involves questioning the validity of your self-doubts and looking for evidence that contradicts them. For example, if you find yourself thinking, "I'm not qualified for this project," ask yourself, what evidence do I have for this belief? What evidence contradicts it? Have I successfully completed similar tasks in the past? What skills do I have that are relevant to this project? This process of logical questioning helps you develop a more balanced and realistic view of your capabilities. It's not about convincing yourself that you're perfect or that success is guaranteed. Rather, it's about recognizing your genuine strengths and abilities, as well as areas where you can improve. Another powerful cognitive technique for building self-efficacy is visualization or mental rehearsal. This involves vividly imagining yourself successfully performing a task or handling a challenging situation. Athletes often use this technique to prepare for competitions, but it's equally applicable in any area of life. When you engage in visualization, you're not just daydreaming. You're actually creating neural pathways in your brain similar to those formed when you physically perform an action. This mental practice can enhance your performance and boost your confidence when you face the real situation. To make visualization most effective, make your mental images as detailed and realistic as possible. Imagine not just the outcome, but the process of achieving it. Include potential obstacles and how you'll overcome them. The more vivid and specific your visualization, the more it will contribute to your self-efficacy. As you apply these cognitive techniques, you'll start to notice a shift in your self-perception. But remember, building self-efficacy isn't just about changing your thoughts. It's also about taking action. This brings us to a crucial concept, the confidence-competence loop. This is the idea that confidence and competence reinforce each other in a positive cycle. When you feel confident, you're more likely to take on challenges and persist in the face of difficulties. This leads to increased competence as you develop new skills and overcome obstacles. As your competence grows, so does your confidence, creating an upward spiral of personal growth. The key to initiating and maintaining this loop is action. Real confidence doesn't come from positive thinking alone, it comes from experience. Each time you take action, whether you succeed or face setbacks, you're gathering valuable data about your capabilities. Even failures provide important information that can guide your future efforts. This is why it's crucial to take consistent steps, no matter how small, towards your goals. Each action you take is an opportunity to build your self-efficacy. Start with tasks that are slightly outside your comfort zone, but still achievable. As you accumulate small successes, gradually increase the difficulty of your challenges. For instance, if you're working on building confidence in your writing skills, you might start by committing to write for 15 minutes each day. As this becomes comfortable, you could increase the time or set more ambitious writing goals. Each day, you meet your writing commitment, you're building evidence of your capability and strengthening your self-efficacy. As you progress, it's important to maintain momentum. One way to do this is by regularly reviewing and celebrating your progress. Keep a record of your achievements, no matter how small they might seem. This serves as tangible evidence of your growth and can be a powerful motivator when you face new challenges. Celebrating progress doesn't mean resting on your laurels. Instead, it's about acknowledging how far you've come while continuing to push forward. Each milestone you reach becomes a launching pad for your next goal. Another key to maintaining momentum is to view setbacks as learning opportunities rather than failures. When things don't go as planned, resist the urge to see it as evidence of your inadequacy. Instead, approach it with curiosity. What can you learn from this experience? How can you adjust your approach next time? This growth-oriented mindset ties back to what we discussed in the previous chapter. By viewing challenges and setbacks as opportunities for learning and growth, you're reinforcing your self-efficacy even in the face of difficulties. As you continue to build your self-efficacy, you'll likely notice changes in various areas of your life. You might find yourself more willing to take on challenges at work, more resilient in the face of personal setbacks, or more confident in social situations. This is because self-efficacy, once developed in one area, often generalizes to other domains of life. However, it's important to maintain a balance between confidence and humility. True self-efficacy isn't about believing you're infallible or superior to others. It's about having a realistic assessment of your capabilities and the belief that you can expand those capabilities through effort and learning. This balanced self-belief allows you to approach challenges with confidence while remaining open to feedback and continuous improvement. It enables you to take risks and pursue ambitious goals without being derailed by setbacks or criticism. As we conclude this chapter, I want you to remember that cultivating confidence through self-efficacy is an ongoing process. It's not about reaching a fixed endpoint where you never doubt yourself again. Rather, it's about developing the tools to build and rebuild your confidence throughout your life. You now have a deeper understanding of what true confidence looks like and how to cultivate it systematically. You've learned about the sources of self-efficacy, cognitive techniques for strengthening it, and the importance of action in creating a positive confidence-competence loop. As you move forward, continue to seek out opportunities to build your self-efficacy. Embrace challenges as chances to grow. Surround yourself with supportive people who believe in you, and never underestimate the power of small, consistent actions in building lasting confidence. In the next chapter, we'll explore another crucial element in your journey of personal growth and achievement. It's a force that can either propel you forward or hold you back, depending on how you harness it. Are you ready to unlock the secret to turning intention into action? Turn the page, and let's dive into the heart of what drives human behavior. Chapter 4, Stop Delay. Have you ever found yourself staring at a looming deadline, fully aware of its importance, yet unable to muster the will to start? That gnawing feeling in your gut, the mix of anxiety and self-reproach as you watch the clock tick away, it's a universal experience that plagues even the most ambitious among us. But what if I told you that this seemingly insurmountable barrier is not what it appears to be? As we delve into this chapter, we're about to uncover a profound truth about human behavior that goes far beyond simple time management. We're going to explore a force so powerful it can derail our best intentions, yet so subtle we often fail to recognize its true nature. This force has the ability to sabotage our goals, erode our self-esteem, and keep us trapped in a cycle of stress and regret. But before we reveal the true identity of this sneaky saboteur, let's consider a scenario that might feel all too familiar. Picture yourself with an important project on the horizon. You know it's crucial for your career, your personal growth, or perhaps even your relationships. You have the skills, the knowledge, and ostensibly the time to complete it. Yet, day after day, you find reasons to put it off. You tell yourself you'll start tomorrow or that you need just a bit more information before you can begin. As the deadline approaches, your anxiety mounts, but still, you delay. What's really going on here? Is it merely poor time management, a lack of discipline, or is there something deeper at play, something that speaks to the very core of human psychology and neurobiology? The truth is, what we're dealing with goes far beyond simple procrastination. It's a complex interplay of emotions, cognitive biases, and neurological processes that can keep us stuck in patterns of delay and avoidance. Understanding this interplay is the key to breaking free from its grip and reclaiming control over our actions and ultimately our lives. At its heart, procrastination is not a time management problem, but an emotional regulation issue. It's a maladaptive coping mechanism we use to deal with the negative emotions associated with certain tasks: boredom, anxiety, insecurity, frustration, or even resentment. When we procrastinate, we're not avoiding the task itself, we're avoiding the negative emotions we've associated with it. This realization is crucial because it shifts our focus from external factors like schedules and to-do lists to internal processes like emotional awareness and self-regulation. It's not about forcing yourself to work harder or longer. It's about understanding and addressing the underlying emotional triggers that lead to avoidance behaviors. But before we dive deeper into these triggers and how to overcome them, it's important to distinguish between procrastination and what we might call a productive pause. Not all delay is procrastination, and sometimes taking a step back can be beneficial. A productive pause is a deliberate strategic break taken to recharge, gain perspective, or gather necessary resources. It's planned and purposeful, unlike procrastination, which is impulsive and often accompanied by feelings of guilt or anxiety. For instance, deciding to sleep on a big decision to allow your subconscious mind to process information is a productive pause. Scrolling through social media for hours instead of starting that decision-making process is procrastination. The key difference lies in intention and outcome. A productive pause leaves you feeling refreshed and ready to tackle the task at hand, while procrastination often leaves you feeling drained and even more resistant to starting. Understanding this distinction is crucial because it allows us to be kinder to ourselves when we genuinely need a break, while also helping us recognize when we're falling into patterns of avoidance. It's about developing the self-awareness to know when we're truly recharging and when we're simply putting off the inevitable. Now, let's explore why we find avoidance so tempting in the short term. When we procrastinate, we experience a temporary relief from the negative emotions associated with the task. This relief acts as a reward, reinforcing the avoidance behavior. Our brains are wired to prioritize immediate rewards over long-term benefits, a phenomenon known as temporal discounting. In the moment, the immediate relief of avoiding an unpleasant task feels more valuable than the future benefits of having completed it. But this short-term relief comes at a significant cost. Procrastination can have severe impacts on our productivity, our self-esteem, and our mental health. Missed deadlines can damage our professional reputation and relationships. The constant stress of looming unfinished tasks can lead to anxiety and depression. Perhaps most insidiously, habitual procrastination can erode our self-confidence as we begin to doubt our ability to follow through on our commitments. Moreover, procrastination often creates a vicious cycle. We put off a task, feel guilty about putting it off, and then avoid it further because now it's associated with those feelings of guilt and anxiety. This cycle can spiral, making the task seem more and more daunting as time goes on. So what drives this self-defeating behavior? Two major emotional triggers often underlie procrastination: fear of failure and perfectionism. These two forces, often intertwined, can paralyze us into inaction. Fear of failure is rooted in our desire to protect our self-image. If we don't try, we can't fail, right? This fear can be particularly potent for high achievers who have tied their self-worth closely to their accomplishments. The prospect of not meeting their own high standards can be so threatening that avoiding the task altogether feels safer than risking failure. Perfectionism, on the other hand, sets an impossibly high bar that makes starting feel overwhelming. Perfectionists often delay beginning a task until conditions are just right or until they feel fully prepared. Of course, these perfect conditions rarely materialize, leading to further delay. Both of these triggers stem from a fundamental misunderstanding of the nature of success and growth. They assume that our abilities are fixed and that our performance on any given task is a direct reflection of our worth or capability. This mindset ignores the reality that skills are developed through practice and that mistakes are an essential part of the learning process. To overcome these triggers, we need to lower the emotional stakes of starting. This involves reframing our relationship with failure and imperfection. Instead of viewing mistakes as catastrophic reflections of our worth, we can see them as valuable data points that inform our growth. Instead of aiming for perfection, we can strive for progress and improvement. Another major factor in procrastination is our brain's preference for immediate gratification over long-term rewards. This preference is rooted in our evolutionary history, where immediate threats and opportunities were more relevant to survival than long-term planning. In our modern world, however, this bias can lead us astray, causing us to prioritize short-term comfort over long-term success. Overcoming this bias requires us to make the long-term rewards more salient and to create more immediate rewards for taking action. This is where techniques like visualization can be powerful. By vividly imagining the future benefits of completing a task, we can make those benefits feel more real and immediate to our brain. We can also create more immediate rewards for taking action. This might involve setting up a reward system for completing tasks or finding ways to make the process itself more enjoyable. The key is to start associating effort with positive emotions rather than discomfort or boredom. Now that we understand the psychological underpinnings of procrastination, let's explore some practical techniques for overcoming it. One powerful approach is the use of implementation intentions. These are pre-made decisions about when and where you'll complete specific tasks. Instead of vaguely intending to work on the project soon, you decide in advance that when I finish my morning coffee, I'll spend 30 minutes outlining the project report. Implementation intentions work because they bypass the decision-making process in the moment. When the specified time and place arrive, you don't have to muster the willpower to decide to start. You've already made that decision. This reduces the cognitive load and makes it easier to overcome inertia. Another effective technique is the 5-minute rule. This involves committing to work on a task for just 5 minutes. The beauty of this approach is that it makes starting feel manageable. 5 minutes is short enough that it doesn't trigger the same resistance as thinking about the entire task. Often, once you've started, you'll find it easier to continue beyond the initial 5 minutes. This technique leverages the psychological principle of momentum. Objects and people in motion tend to stay in motion. Breaking large tasks into smaller, manageable segments is another crucial strategy. This approach, sometimes called task segmentation, helps in several ways. First, it makes the overall task feel less overwhelming. Instead of facing a monolithic project, you're dealing with a series of smaller, more approachable tasks. Second, it provides more frequent opportunities for completion and reward. Each small task you finish gives you a sense of accomplishment, which can fuel motivation for the next step. When breaking down tasks, it's important to make each step as concrete and actionable as possible. Instead of work on project, your steps might be create outline, research first section, write introduction, and so on. The more specific you can be, the easier it will be to get started and maintain momentum. These techniques are powerful, but they're even more effective when combined with environmental adjustments that support productivity. Our environment plays a crucial role in shaping our behavior, often in ways we don't consciously recognize. By deliberately designing our workspace and routines, we can make it easier to stay focused and resist the temptation to procrastinate. Start by identifying and eliminating potential distractions in your work environment. This might involve turning off notifications on your devices, using website blockers during focused work periods, or finding a quiet space where you won't be interrupted. The goal is to reduce the number of things competing for your attention, making it easier to concentrate on the task at hand. In addition to removing distractions, you can create visual and physical cues that trigger a work mindset. This might involve setting up a dedicated workspace that you use only for focused work, or developing a pre-work ritual that signals to your brain that it's time to concentrate. These environmental cues can help bypass the conscious decision-making process, making it easier to transition into work mode. Another powerful environmental strategy is to leverage social accountability. Sharing your goals and deadlines with others can significantly increase your motivation to follow through. This could involve finding an accountability partner, joining a mastermind group, or simply telling a friend about your intentions. The knowledge that someone else is aware of your commitments can provide that extra push to overcome procrastination. You can formalize this accountability by setting up structured check-ins. These regular progress reviews, whether with a mentor, a peer, or even just yourself, create external deadlines that can help combat the tendency to delay. They also provide opportunities to celebrate progress and adjust your approach as needed. As you implement these strategies, it's important to remember that overcoming procrastination is a process, not a one-time fix. You're essentially retraining your brain, creating new neural pathways that associate taking action with positive outcomes rather than discomfort. This takes time and consistent effort, but the results can be transformative. Start small, focusing on one or two techniques that resonate with you. As you build confidence and see results, you can gradually incorporate more strategies into your routine. Pay attention to what works best for you. Everyone's triggers and effective solutions are slightly different. Also, be kind to yourself throughout this process. Procrastination often comes with a heavy load of self-criticism, but beating yourself up is counterproductive. Instead, approach your efforts with curiosity and compassion. When you do procrastinate, and you will because you're human, treat it as valuable data. What triggered the delay? What can you learn from this experience to refine your approach? Remember, the goal isn't to eliminate all delay or to force yourself to work constantly. It's to develop the ability to choose when to act and when to pause, to align your actions with your intentions and values. It's about freeing yourself from the grip of avoidance so you can pursue what truly matters to you. As you move forward, armed with these insights and strategies, you'll likely find that tasks that once felt insurmountable become manageable. Projects that you used to put off indefinitely now get completed with regularity. But perhaps most importantly, you'll experience a growing sense of agency and self-trust. You'll know that when you set an intention, you have the tools to follow through. This newfound ability to act decisively and consistently is transformative. It opens up possibilities that might have seemed out of reach before. Goals that once felt like distant dreams start to feel achievable. You begin to see yourself as someone who gets things done, who can be relied upon by yourself and others. But as powerful as these strategies are, they're just the beginning. In the next chapter, we'll explore another crucial element in your journey of personal growth and achievement. It's a force so potent that it can propel you through obstacles, sustain you through challenges, and fuel long-term success. Are you ready to unlock the secret to unstoppable momentum? Turn the page, and let's dive into the heart of what truly drives human potential. Chapter 5, Ignite Drive. Have you ever wondered why some days you wake up brimming with energy, ready to conquer the world, while on others, even the simplest tasks feel like climbing Mount Everest? What if I told you that the key to consistent motivation isn't willpower or discipline, but something far more fundamental to human nature? As we embark on this chapter, we're about to uncover a powerful force that lies at the very core of human behavior. It's a force so potent that when harnessed correctly, it can propel you through the toughest challenges and sustain you on even the longest journeys. But before we reveal the true nature of this driving force, let's consider a scenario that might feel all too familiar. Imagine you've set an ambitious goal for yourself. Perhaps it's starting a business, writing a book, or mastering a new skill. In the beginning, you're filled with excitement and determination. You make rapid progress, fueled by the novelty and the vision of your end goal. But as time passes, that initial spark begins to fade. The tasks become routine, progress slows, and doubt creeps in. You find yourself struggling to maintain the same level of enthusiasm and effort that you had at the start. What's really happening here? Is it simply a matter of losing interest or running out of willpower? Or is there something deeper at play? Something that speaks to the very essence of human psychology and neurobiology? The truth is, what we're dealing with goes far beyond simple motivation or lack thereof. It's a complex interplay of psychological needs, neurochemical responses, and environmental factors that shape our drive and determination. Understanding this interplay is the key to not just igniting your motivation, but sustaining it over the long haul. At its heart, motivation is about movement, moving towards something desirable or away from something unpleasant. But what drives this movement? What makes us want to pursue certain goals while abandoning others? The answer lies in understanding the foundations of motivation, particularly the distinction between intrinsic and extrinsic drive. Intrinsic motivation comes from within. It's the drive to do something because it's inherently interesting, enjoyable, or aligned with our values. When you're intrinsically motivated, the activity itself is the reward. Think about a hobby you love. You engage in it not because of any external reward, but because the act itself brings you satisfaction. Extrinsic motivation, on the other hand, comes from external factors. It's driven by the desire to earn a reward or avoid a punishment. Working overtime to earn a bonus or studying to avoid failing a test are examples of extrinsic motivation. While both types of motivation can be effective, research consistently shows that intrinsic motivation is more powerful and sustainable in the long run. When you're intrinsically motivated, you're more likely to persist in the face of challenges, be more creative in your approach, and experience greater satisfaction from your efforts. This doesn't mean that extrinsic motivation is useless. In fact, external rewards can be very effective in kickstarting a new habit or providing a boost when intrinsic motivation is low. The key is to use extrinsic motivators strategically as a bridge to developing intrinsic motivation. But what's happening in our brains when we feel motivated? This is where the role of dopamine comes into play. Dopamine is often called the reward chemical because it's released when we experience something pleasurable. However, recent neuroscience research has revealed something fascinating about dopamine. It's released not just when we achieve a goal, but in anticipation of achieving it. This anticipatory aspect of dopamine is crucial for understanding motivation. When we set a clear, specific goal, our brain begins to anticipate the reward of achieving that goal. This anticipation releases dopamine, which in turn motivates us to take action towards the goal. It's a beautiful, self-reinforcing cycle that can drive sustained effort over time. Understanding this dopamine-driven motivation system allows us to hack our own psychology for greater drive and determination. By setting clear, achievable short-term targets that lead to our larger goals, we can create a series of dopamine boosts that keep us motivated along the way. But motivation isn't just about chemical reactions in our brains. It's also deeply tied to our psychological needs. This is where self-determination theory comes into play. According to this theory, humans have three basic psychological needs that, when met, foster intrinsic motivation: autonomy, the need to feel in control of our actions; competence, the need to feel capable and effective; and relatedness, the need to feel connected to others. When we engage in activities that satisfy these needs, we're more likely to feel intrinsically motivated. This explains why we often feel more driven when we have choice in how we approach a task, autonomy, when we're working on something that challenges us but is within our capabilities, competence, and when we're working towards a goal that connects us with others, relatedness. Now that we understand the foundations of motivation, let's explore some specific motivational triggers that we can leverage to ignite our drive. One of the most powerful of these is curiosity. Humans are naturally curious creatures. We have an innate desire to learn, explore, and understand. By tapping into this natural curiosity, we can create sustained motivation for even the most challenging tasks. One way to do this is by framing tasks as questions to be answered or puzzles to be solved. Instead of thinking, I have to finish this project, try asking yourself, how can I approach this project in a novel way? Or, what can I learn from this experience? This shift in perspective can transform a mundane task into an intriguing challenge. Another powerful motivational trigger is the desire for mastery. We all have a deep-seated need to feel competent and to see ourselves improving over time. By setting mastery-oriented goals that focus on skill development rather than just outcomes, we can tap into this powerful source of motivation. For example, instead of setting a goal to win the sales competition, you might set a goal to master the art of consultative selling. This shift in focus from results to skill development not only provides more consistent motivation because you can work on improving your skills regardless of external outcomes, but it also leads to greater long-term success. Social accountability and status can also be powerful motivators. As social creatures, we're inherently motivated by the desire to be respected and valued by our peers. By making public commitments to our goals or joining communities of like-minded individuals, we can leverage this social motivation to enhance our drive and follow-through. However, it's important to strike a balance with social motivation. While external accountability can be a powerful tool, becoming overly dependent on it can undermine our intrinsic motivation. The goal is to use social support as a supplement to, not a replacement for, our internal drive. Now, igniting motivation is one thing. Maintaining it over time is another challenge entirely. This is where the importance of goal setting and review cycles comes into play. By establishing regular checkpoints to review and adjust our objectives, we can ensure that our goals remain aligned with our evolving needs and circumstances. These review cycles serve multiple purposes. They allow us to celebrate our progress, which reinforces our motivation. They give us the opportunity to adjust our approach based on what we've learned, and they help us reconnect with the deeper purpose behind our goals, reigniting our intrinsic motivation. Another key to maintaining momentum is the strategic use of reward structures. While we've discussed the superiority of intrinsic motivation, well-designed external rewards can play a role in reinforcing positive behaviors and bridging the gap when intrinsic motivation is low. The key is to design rewards that support rather than undermine intrinsic motivation. This means avoiding rewards that feel controlling or that shift the focus away from the inherent value of the activity. Instead, opt for rewards that provide positive feedback, reinforce competence, or create opportunities for further growth and exploration. As we strive to maintain our motivation over time, it's crucial to find the right balance between urgency and sustainability. While a sense of urgency can be a powerful motivator, too much pressure can lead to stress and burnout, ultimately undermining our long-term drive. One way to strike this balance is through the constructive use of deadlines. When used effectively, deadlines can create a sense of urgency that increases focus and productivity. The key is to set deadlines that are challenging but achievable and to use them as tools for motivation rather than sources of stress. It's also important to recognize the signs of excessive pressure and impending burnout. These might include persistent fatigue, decreased productivity, increased irritability, or a loss of enjoyment in activities you usually find rewarding. By staying attuned to these signs, you can adjust your approach before motivation gives way to exhaustion. Remember, sustainable motivation isn't about constantly pushing yourself to the limit. It's about finding a rhythm that allows for periods of intense focus and effort, balanced with time for rest, reflection, and renewal. This balanced approach not only prevents burnout, but also allows for deeper, more creative engagement with your goals. As you implement these strategies, you'll you'll likely find that your relationship with motivation begins to shift. Rather than waiting for motivation to strike or trying to force yourself into action through sheer willpower, you'll be able to consciously cultivate and sustain your drive. You'll start to see challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth and learning. You'll find yourself naturally drawn towards activities that align with your values and tap into your intrinsic motivations. And you'll develop a greater sense of autonomy and control over your own motivation and behavior. This shift is transformative. It allows you to pursue your goals with greater consistency and resilience. You'll be less swayed by temporary setbacks or fluctuations in external circumstances. Instead, you'll have a steady internal compass guiding your actions and decisions. But as powerful as these motivation strategies are, they're just one piece of the puzzle when it comes to achieving your full potential. In the next chapter, we'll explore another crucial element in your journey of personal growth and success. It's a force that can either propel you forward or hold you back, depending on how you harness it. Are you ready to uncover the hidden saboteur that might be lurking in your subconscious? Turn the page, and let's dive into the depths of human psychology to reveal the surprising truth about self-sabotage and how to overcome it. Chapter 6. Prevent sabotage. Have you ever felt like you're your own worst enemy? Like there's a part of you that seems intent on derailing your progress, even as another part strives for success? If so, you're not alone. In fact, you're tapping into a phenomenon that affects even the most ambitious and talented individuals among us. As we delve into this chapter, we're about to uncover a hidden force that lurks within the psyche of high achievers. It's a force so subtle, yet so powerful, that it can undermine years of hard work in a moment of weakness. But before we reveal the true nature of this internal saboteur, let's consider a scenario that might feel uncomfortably familiar. Imagine you're on the brink of a major achievement. Perhaps you're about to launch a business you've been planning for years, or you're close to completing a significant project that could advance your career. You've put in countless hours of work, and success is within reach. Yet, as you approach the finish line, you find yourself hesitating. You start finding reasons to delay the launch or to revise the project one more time. You might even consider abandoning the endeavor altogether, convincing yourself it wasn't such a good idea in the first place. What's really going on here? Is it just a case of last-minute jitters, or is there something deeper at play? The truth is, what we're dealing with goes far beyond simple nervousness or indecision. It's a complex psychological mechanism that can manifest in various ways, all of which serve to hold us back from reaching our full potential. This mechanism is what psychologists call self-sabotage. It's a pattern of behavior where we create obstacles that interfere with our long-term goals. The irony is that this self-sabotage often comes from a place of self-protection. Our minds, in an attempt to shield us from potential pain or discomfort, can lead us to actions that ultimately harm our chances of success. But why would we sabotage our own efforts? The answer lies in understanding the underlying fears and beliefs that drive these behaviors. Often, self-sabotage is rooted in fears of failure, success, or judgment. It can also stem from a deep-seated belief that we're not worthy of success, or that we don't have what it takes to achieve our goals. One of the most common forms of self-sabotage is procrastination. We've discussed procrastination in a previous chapter, but it's worth revisiting in the context of self-sabotage. When we procrastinate, we're often avoiding not just the task itself, but the emotions associated with it: anxiety about performance, fear of failure, or even fear of success and the changes it might bring. Another insidious form of self-sabotage is perfectionism. On the surface, striving for perfection might seem like a positive trait. After all, don't we want to produce our best work? But perfectionism can become a trap, setting standards so high that they're impossible to meet. This leads to a paralyzing fear of making mistakes, which can prevent us from starting tasks or completing projects. Imposter syndrome is yet another manifestation of self-sabotage. This is the persistent feeling that you're a fraud, that your achievements are due to luck rather than skill, and that you'll eventually be found out. People experiencing imposter syndrome might downplay their successes or avoid taking on new challenges, fearing they won't be able to live up to expectations. Overcommitment can also be a form of self-sabotage, albeit a less obvious one. By taking on too many responsibilities or projects, we set ourselves up for burnout and failure. This can be driven by a need to prove our worth, a fear of missing out, or an inability to set boundaries. Recognizing these patterns is the first step in preventing self-sabotage, but it's not always easy to spot when we're engaging in self-defeating behaviors. Often, these patterns are so ingrained that they feel normal or even necessary. That's why it's crucial to develop an awareness of our internal triggers, the emotions and thoughts that precede acts of self-sabotage. Fear is often at the root of self-sabotage. Fear of failure can lead us to procrastinate or set impossibly high standards. Fear of success can cause us to subconsciously undermine our efforts as we approach our goals. Fear of judgment might make us hesitate to share our work or ideas with others. Guilt is another common trigger. We might feel guilty about potential success, especially if we come from a background where we've been taught that standing out is somehow wrong. Or we might feel guilty about taking time for our own pursuits, leading to self-sabotage in the form of overcommitment to others' needs. Self-doubt is perhaps the most pervasive trigger. That nagging voice that says, "You're not good enough," or "You don't deserve this," can lead to a whole host of self-sabotaging behaviors. Learning to recognize these internal triggers is key to preventing self-sabotage. Pay attention to the thoughts and feelings that arise when you're about to start an important task, or when you're on the verge of achieving a goal. Are you feeling anxious, doubtful, overwhelmed? These emotions can be early warning signs of impending self-sabotage. Once you've identified your patterns of self-sabotage and the triggers that precede them, the next step is to break the cycle. This is where cognitive behavioral interventions can be incredibly powerful. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, is based on the idea that our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are all interconnected. By changing our thoughts, we can influence our emotions and behaviors. When it comes to self-sabotage, this means identifying and challenging the distorted thoughts that fuel our self-defeating behaviors. For example, if you find yourself procrastinating on a project, you might notice thoughts like, "This is too hard," or "I'll probably mess it up anyway." These thoughts are often based on cognitive distortions, inaccurate or exaggerated beliefs about ourselves or the world around us. To challenge these thoughts, you can use a technique called logical questioning. Ask yourself, is this thought based on facts or feelings? What evidence do I have to support or refute this belief? What would I say to a friend who had this thought? By systematically questioning and challenging these distorted thoughts, you can begin to replace them with more balanced, realistic beliefs. This doesn't mean adopting a blindly positive outlook. It's about seeing situations clearly and objectively. In addition to cognitive interventions, behavioral strategies can be highly effective in combating self-sabotage. One powerful approach is to replace self-sabotaging behaviors with structured micro-actions. For instance, if procrastination is your form of self-sabotage, you might replace it with a commitment to work on the task for just 5 minutes. This small action is often enough to overcome the initial resistance and build momentum. Once you've started, you'll often find it easier to continue. If perfectionism is holding you back, you might implement a good enough checkpoint system. Set criteria for what constitutes an acceptable level of completion for each stage of a project. This allows you to make progress without getting stuck in endless revisions. For those struggling with imposter syndrome, creating a success journal can be a powerful tool. Regularly document your achievements, positive feedback, and instances where you've overcome challenges. This creates a tangible record of your competence that you can refer to when self-doubt strikes. Overcoming perfectionism and imposter feelings often requires a fundamental shift in mindset. Instead of aiming for perfection, focus on progress. Celebrate small improvements and incremental steps forward. Remember, perfection is an impossible standard that only leads to frustration and inaction. It's also important to normalize self-doubt. Even the most successful people experience moments of uncertainty and feelings of inadequacy. Recognizing that these feelings are common can help reduce their power over you. Instead of seeing self-doubt as a sign that you're not cut out for success, view it as a normal part of the growth process. As you work to overcome self-sabotage, it's crucial to find a balance between ambition and well-being. High achievers often struggle with setting boundaries and saying no to opportunities or requests. But overcommitment is a surefire path to burnout and ultimately self-sabotage. Learning to set boundaries starts with getting clear on your priorities. What are your core objectives? What activities or commitments truly align with your goals and values? Once you have this clarity, it becomes easier to say no to things that don't serve your larger purpose. Saying no can be challenging, especially if you fear missing out or disappointing others. But remember, every time you say yes to something that doesn't align with your priorities, you're saying no to something that does. Practice saying no graciously but firmly. You might be surprised at how much respect and understanding you receive when you set clear boundaries. Another crucial aspect of preventing self-sabotage is cultivating self-compassion. Many high achievers are incredibly hard on themselves, believing that harsh self-criticism is necessary for success. In reality, research shows that self-compassion is far more effective in promoting long-term achievement and well-being. Self-compassion involves treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer a good friend. It means recognizing that mistakes and setbacks are a normal part of the human experience, not signs of personal failure or inadequacy. When you approach challenges with self-compassion, you're more likely to learn from your mistakes rather than being paralyzed by them. You're able to bounce back from setbacks more quickly and maintain motivation in the face of obstacles. Practicing self-compassion doesn't mean lowering your standards or giving up on your goals. Instead, it provides a stable emotional foundation from which you can pursue your ambitions without the fear of harsh self-judgment if things don't go perfectly. As you implement these strategies to prevent self-sabotage, you'll likely notice a shift in your approach to challenges and opportunities. You'll become more aware of your internal triggers and better equipped to redirect your thoughts and behaviors in productive ways. You might find yourself taking on projects that you previously would have avoided out of fear. You'll likely complete tasks more efficiently, free from the paralysis of perfectionism. And you'll approach your achievements with a greater sense of ownership and pride, less plagued by imposter feelings. But perhaps most importantly, you'll develop a deeper sense of trust in yourself. As you consistently choose actions that align with your long-term goals rather than succumbing to self-sabotage, you'll build a track record of following through on your commitments to yourself. This self-trust is invaluable in pursuing ambitious goals and navigating the inevitable ups and downs of any worthwhile endeavor. Remember, overcoming self-sabotage is not about achieving perfection in your thoughts or behaviors. It's about developing awareness, challenging unhelpful patterns, and consistently choosing actions that support your growth and success. It's an ongoing process, one that requires patience, persistence, and self-compassion. As you continue on this journey of self-discovery and growth, you're building a foundation for sustained success and fulfillment. You're not just preventing sabotage, you're actively creating the conditions for your own flourishing. But as powerful as these strategies are for preventing self-sabotage, they're just one piece of the puzzle when it comes to achieving your full potential. In the next chapter, we'll explore another crucial element in your journey towards success and fulfillment. It's a set of tools so potent that they can transform how you approach challenges, make decisions, and navigate the complexities of modern life. Are you ready to unlock the secrets of peak performance? Turn the page and let's dive into the cutting-edge strategies that top achievers use to consistently operate at their best. Chapter 7, Performance Tools. Have you ever wondered why some individuals seem to consistently achieve at the highest levels, while others struggle to make progress despite their best efforts? What if I told you that the difference often lies not in talent or luck, but in the tools and systems these high performers use to approach their goals? As we embark on this chapter, we're about to uncover a set of powerful instruments that can transform your approach to personal and professional challenges. These aren't just simple tips or tricks. They're sophisticated tools based on cutting-edge research in psychology and neuroscience. But before we reveal the nature of these game-changing tools, let's consider a scenario that might feel all too familiar. Imagine you've set an ambitious goal for yourself. You're excited and motivated at the start, but as time goes on, you find yourself struggling to maintain focus and momentum. Some days you make great progress, while on others you feel like you're spinning your wheels. You start to wonder if you're really cut out for this level of achievement, or if you're missing some crucial element that top performers seem to possess. What if the missing piece isn't some innate quality, but rather a set of learnable skills and strategies? What if you could access the same tools that world-class athletes, business leaders, and innovators use to consistently perform at their peak? The truth is, high performance isn't about relying on bursts of motivation or working harder than everyone else. It's about working smarter, using systems and tools that are scientifically proven to enhance focus, productivity, and resilience. These performance tools allow you to design your environment and your approach in a way that naturally leads to consistent progress and achievement. At the heart of high performance lies effective goal setting. But not all goals are created equal. The way you frame and structure your goals can have a profound impact on your likelihood of achieving them. This is where frameworks like SMART goals come into play. SMART is an acronym that stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Each of these elements plays a crucial role in creating goals that are clear, motivating, and actionable. Let's break this down. Specific goals provide clarity. Instead of a vague intention like get in shape, a specific goal might be run a 5K race. This clarity helps focus your efforts and makes it easier to plan your actions. Measurable goals allow you to track your progress. If you can measure it, you can manage it. For our running example, you might track your running distance or time, giving you concrete data on your improvement. Achievable goals strike a balance between challenging and realistic. While it's important to push yourself, setting impossible goals only leads to frustration and demotivation. Relevant goals align with your broader life objectives and values. This ensures that your efforts are meaningful and worthwhile to you personally. Time-bound goals have a deadline. This creates a sense of urgency and helps prevent procrastination. For our running example, you might set a goal to run the 5K within the next 6 months. By framing your goals within this SMART framework, you create a clear roadmap for achievement. This clarity not only increases your chances of success, but also boosts your motivation by making the path forward more visible and manageable. But effective goal setting goes beyond just structuring your objectives. It also involves mentally preparing for the journey ahead, including potential obstacles. This is where the WOOP method comes in. WOOP stands for Wish, Outcome, Obstacle, Plan. Developed by psychologist Gabriela Oettingen, this method uses a technique called mental contrasting to improve goal achievement. Here's how it works. First, you identify your wish, what you want to achieve. Then, you vividly imagine the outcome, how it will feel to accomplish your goal, and what positive changes it will bring to your life. Next, you consider potential obstacles, what might get in your way or hold you back. Finally, you create a plan for how you'll overcome these obstacles. This process is powerful because it combines positive visualization with realistic problem solving. By imagining both the desired outcome and potential challenges, you're mentally preparing yourself for the journey ahead. This balanced approach leads to greater commitment and resilience in pursuing your goals. Once you've set clear, well-structured goals, the next crucial element is monitoring your progress and creating feedback loops. This is where many people fall short. They set goals but fail to track their progress consistently, missing out on valuable data and opportunities for adjustment. Effective self-monitoring involves tracking not just your actions and results, but also your emotional states and productivity patterns. This comprehensive approach gives you a fuller picture of your performance and helps you identify both what's working well and where you might need to make changes. There are many tools you can use for self-monitoring, from simple journals to sophisticated apps. The key is to find a method that you can stick with consistently. Some people prefer the tactile experience of writing in a physical journal, while others appreciate the convenience and data analysis capabilities of digital tools. Whatever method you choose, the important thing is to make self-monitoring a regular habit. Set aside time each day or week to review your progress, reflect on your experiences, and plan for the days ahead. This consistent practice of self-reflection and planning is a hallmark of high performers across various fields. But self-monitoring alone isn't enough. To truly optimize your performance, you need to create constructive feedback loops. This involves not just tracking your progress, but actively using that information to make improvements and adjustments to your approach. Regular self-review is crucial for preventing stagnation and plateaus in your performance. By consistently evaluating your progress and strategies, you can identify areas for improvement before they become significant obstacles. This proactive approach allows you to continually refine your methods and push your boundaries. External feedback is also a valuable component of these feedback loops. Seeking input from mentors, peers, or experts in your field can provide fresh perspectives and insights that you might miss on your own. The key is to approach feedback with an open mind, seeing it as valuable data rather than personal criticism. As you implement these goal-setting and monitoring strategies, you'll likely notice an improvement in your focus and productivity. But to truly reach peak performance, you need to address not just your actions, but also your thoughts and beliefs. This is where cognitive restructuring comes into play. Cognitive restructuring is a powerful technique drawn from cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, that involves identifying and challenging negative thought patterns that may be holding you back. These negative thoughts, often called cognitive distortions, can significantly impact your performance by undermining your confidence and motivation. Common cognitive distortions that can hinder performance include all-or-nothing thinking. If I don't do this perfectly, I'm a complete failure. Overgeneralization. I messed up once, so I'll never succeed at this. And catastrophizing. If I fail at this, my entire career will be ruined. The first step in cognitive restructuring is to become aware of these distorted thoughts. Pay attention to your internal dialogue, especially when you're facing challenges or setbacks. Once you've identified a negative thought pattern, the next step is to challenge it logically. Ask yourself, is this thought based on facts or feelings? What evidence supports or contradicts this belief? What would I say to a friend who had this thought? By systematically questioning these negative thoughts, you can begin to replace them with more balanced, realistic alternatives. For example, if you catch yourself thinking, "I'm not cut out for this level of responsibility," you might challenge that thought by considering times when you've successfully handled challenging tasks in the past. You might reframe the thought to something like, "This is a challenging responsibility, but I have the skills to learn and grow into it." In addition to challenging negative thoughts, it's important to actively cultivate positive self-talk. This doesn't mean adopting unrealistic or overly optimistic thinking, but rather developing a more supportive and encouraging internal dialogue. One effective technique is to craft personalized power statements, short, positive affirmations that resonate with you personally. These might be statements like, "I am capable of handling whatever challenges come my way," or "Every setback is an opportunity for growth." The key is to make these statements feel authentic and meaningful to you. Regularly practicing these power statements, especially before challenging tasks or situations, can help reinforce a positive mindset and boost your confidence. Over time, this positive self-talk can become more automatic, gradually replacing self-sabotaging internal dialogue. As you work on restructuring your thoughts and cultivating positive self-talk, you'll likely notice an improvement in your overall mindset and approach to challenges. But to truly reach peak performance, you need to go beyond just thinking positively. You need to create the conditions for deep focus and flow. Flow, a concept popularized by psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, refers to a state of complete immersion in a task where you lose track of time and self-consciousness. It's in this state that we often produce our best work and experience the greatest sense of fulfillment. Achieving flow requires balancing the difficulty of the task with your skill level. If a task is too easy, you'll become bored. If it's too difficult, you'll become anxious. The sweet spot for flow is when the challenge slightly exceeds your current abilities, pushing you to grow and improve. To cultivate flow, start by breaking larger tasks into smaller, manageable chunks that provide clear goals and immediate feedback. Create an environment that minimizes distractions and interruptions. This might involve using noise-canceling headphones, turning off notifications on your devices, or designating specific times for deep work sessions. It's also important to build your capacity for sustained focus. In our increasingly distracted world, the ability to concentrate deeply for extended periods is becoming a rare and valuable skill. Practice gradually increasing the duration of your focused work sessions, taking short breaks in between to recharge. As you develop your ability to enter flow states more consistently, you'll likely find that your productivity and the quality of your work improve dramatically. But to sustain high performance over the long term, you need to move beyond relying on willpower alone. This is where habit formation comes into play. Habits are the building blocks of consistent performance. By turning key behaviors into habits, you reduce the mental energy required to initiate and maintain these behaviors. This frees up cognitive resources for more complex tasks and decision-making. The key to effective habit formation lies in understanding the cue routine reward loop. Every habit has a cue that triggers it, a routine that you perform, and a reward that reinforces the behavior. By consciously designing these elements, you can create habits that support your goals and performance. For example, if you want to develop a habit of daily writing, you might choose a cue, like finishing your morning coffee, a routine, writing for 30 minutes, and a reward, allowing yourself to check social media after completing the writing session. Over time, this sequence becomes automatic, reducing the willpower required to initiate the writing session. As you begin to implement these performance tools, from structured goal setting to cognitive restructuring to habit formation, you'll likely notice a significant shift in your approach to challenges and your overall productivity. You'll find yourself working with greater focus and consistency, making steady progress towards your goals even on days when motivation is low. But perhaps more importantly, you'll develop a sense of control over your performance and outcomes. Rather than feeling at the mercy of external circumstances or fleeting bursts of inspiration, you'll have a reliable system for consistently bringing your best self to your work and life. Remember, mastering these performance tools is not about achieving perfection or never facing setbacks. It's about developing a robust set of strategies that allow you to navigate challenges more effectively, bounce back from setbacks more quickly, and consistently push the boundaries of your capabilities. As you continue to refine and personalize these tools, you'll be building a foundation for sustained success and fulfillment. You're not just optimizing your performance, you're cultivating an approach to life that allows you to continually grow, learn, and achieve. But as powerful as these performance tools are, they're just one piece of the puzzle when it comes to achieving lasting success and fulfillment. In the next chapter, we'll explore another crucial element in your journey towards realizing your full potential. It's a quality so essential that without it, even the most talented and hardworking individuals often fall short of their goals. Are you ready to discover the secret to turning short-term gains into long-term success? Turn the page and let's uncover the key to sustaining growth and achievement over a lifetime. Chapter 8: Sustain Growth. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to continuously evolve and improve, while others plateau or even regress after initial success? What if I told you that the key to long-term achievement isn't found in sporadic bursts of effort, but in a subtle, often overlooked quality that the most successful individuals cultivate over time? As we delve into this chapter, we're about to uncover a powerful principle that can transform your approach to personal and professional development. It's not about working harder or smarter for a short period. It's about creating a sustainable trajectory that propels you forward year after year. But before we reveal the true nature of this game-changing concept, let's consider a scenario that might feel all too familiar. Imagine you've achieved a significant goal you've been working towards for months, maybe even years. Perhaps you've landed that dream job, completed a major project, or reached an important personal milestone. You feel elated, accomplished, and then what? As the initial euphoria fades, you might find yourself asking, "Is this it? What's next?" Or worse, you might feel a creeping sense of stagnation, as if you've reached the peak and there's nowhere else to go. This experience is more common than you might think, and it points to a fundamental misunderstanding about the nature of success and personal growth. Many of us have been conditioned to view success as a destination, a fixed point we reach, and then stop. But what if success isn't a destination at all? What if it's something else entirely? The truth is, sustainable success and fulfillment come not from reaching a specific endpoint, but from embracing a mindset of continuous improvement. It's about seeing every achievement not as a final destination, but as a stepping stone to the next level of growth and mastery. This mindset of continuous improvement isn't just a feel-good philosophy. It's backed by solid psychological research and has been adopted by some of the most successful individuals and organizations in the world. It's about rejecting the myth of an endpoint and instead embracing the idea that there's always room for growth, always a new challenge to tackle, always a way to refine and expand your capabilities. But how do we cultivate this mindset of continuous improvement? It starts with shifting our focus from goal-based thinking to system-based thinking. While goals are important for providing direction, systems are what drive consistent progress over time. Instead of fixating solely on the outcome you want to achieve, focus on developing the habits, routines, and processes that will inevitably lead to that outcome, and beyond. For example, instead of setting a goal to become a great public speaker, you might focus on developing a system of regular practice, feedback, and refinement. This system-based approach not only increases your chances of achieving your initial goal, but also sets you up for ongoing improvement long after you've become proficient. Another key aspect of sustaining growth is understanding the power of small, consistent actions. It's easy to underestimate the impact of small steps, especially in a culture that often celebrates dramatic transformations and overnight successes. But the reality is that significant, lasting change usually comes from the accumulation of small, consistent efforts over time. Think about compound interest in finance. A small amount invested regularly can grow into a substantial sum over time, thanks to the power of compounding. The same principle applies to personal growth. Small improvements, consistently applied, can lead to remarkable results in the long run. This is where the concept of 1% better every day comes into play. If you focus on improving just 1% each day over the course of a year, you'll end up 37 times better, not just 365% better. This exponential growth is the magic of consistent, incremental improvement. The key here is consistency. It's far better to make small improvements consistently than to make large improvements sporadically. Consistency reinforces habits and behaviors, making them more automatic and sustainable over time. It's about progress, not perfection. Of course, the path of continuous improvement isn't always smooth. Life has a way of throwing unexpected challenges our way, and even the best-laid plans can be disrupted by unforeseen circumstances. This is where resilience and adaptability come into play. Resilience isn't about avoiding setbacks or challenges. It's about developing the capacity to respond effectively when they occur. It's about viewing obstacles not as insurmountable barriers, but as opportunities for growth and learning. One key aspect of resilience is the ability to pivot quickly when external circumstances change. This mental flexibility allows you to navigate uncertainty and adapt your approach as needed without losing sight of your overall direction. Developing this kind of adaptability starts with cultivating a growth mindset, the belief that your abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort, learning, and persistence. When you have a growth mindset, setbacks become learning opportunities rather than evidence of your limitations. Another crucial element of sustaining growth is the ability to build on past successes and failures. Every experience, whether perceived as positive or negative, contains valuable lessons that can inform your future efforts. When you achieve a success, take time to reflect on what contributed to that outcome. What strategies worked well? What personal strengths did you leverage? How can you apply these insights to future challenges? Similarly, when you face setbacks or failures, approach them with curiosity rather than self-criticism. What can you learn from this experience? How can you adjust your approach next time? By extracting key lessons from both wins and losses, you create a rich repository of knowledge and experience to draw from as you continue to grow and evolve. It's also important to use past confidence-building experiences to fuel future challenges. Remind yourself of times when you've overcome obstacles or achieved difficult goals. This can boost your self-efficacy, your belief in your ability to succeed in specific situations, which in turn enhances your resilience and persistence in the face of new challenges. As you continue on your journey of sustained growth, it's crucial to ensure that your efforts align with your deeper purpose and core values. Without this alignment, even impressive achievements can feel hollow and motivation can be hard to maintain. Take time to identify your personal drivers, the deeper why behind your goals and aspirations. What truly matters to you? What kind of impact do you want to have in the world? How do you want to grow and evolve as a person? Clarifying these deeper motivations can provide a powerful source of sustained drive, especially when facing challenges or setbacks. When your daily actions resonate with your long-term aspirations and values, you're more likely to stay committed and engaged, even when the going gets tough. This alignment also helps prevent what we might call drifting goals, the tendency for our objectives to shift over time in ways that may not serve our true aspirations. It's natural for goals to evolve as we grow and our circumstances change, but it's important to ensure that these shifts align with our core values and long-term vision. Regular self-evaluation is key to maintaining this alignment. Set aside time periodically, perhaps monthly or quarterly, to reflect on your goals and progress. Are your current objectives still in line with your deeper purpose? Are your daily actions contributing to your long-term vision? If not, what adjustments need to be made? This process of iterative review and adjustment is crucial for sustaining growth over the long term. It's about staying agile and responsive, continually fine-tuning your approach based on what you learn and experience along the way. Scheduling consistent check-ins with yourself and potentially with mentors or accountability partners provides a structured way to review your progress and recalibrate your plans. These check-ins allow you to celebrate your successes, learn from your challenges, and make necessary course corrections before small issues become major obstacles. During these reviews, it's important to look for early warning signs of stagnation. Are you feeling less engaged or motivated? Has your progress slowed? Are you avoiding certain tasks or areas of development? Identifying these signs early allows you to address them proactively, perhaps by setting new challenges, seeking out fresh learning opportunities, or adjusting your strategies. One often overlooked aspect of sustaining growth is the importance of celebrating milestones along the way. In our rush to achieve the next goal, we often forget to acknowledge how far we've come. Yet, recognizing and celebrating progress is crucial for maintaining motivation and reinforcing positive behaviors. Celebrations don't have to be grand or elaborate. The key is to pause and consciously acknowledge your achievements, no matter how small they might seem. This practice of acknowledgement reinforces the behaviors and efforts that led to the success, making it more likely that you'll continue those positive actions in the future. Consider implementing a system of milestone rewards, predetermined ways to celebrate reaching certain benchmarks or achievements. These rewards can be as simple as taking an afternoon off to enjoy a favorite activity, or as significant as a special trip or purchase you've been looking forward to. The important thing is that the reward is meaningful to you and serves as a positive reinforcement for your efforts. As you implement these strategies for sustaining growth, you'll likely notice a shift in how you approach challenges and setbacks. Instead of feeling discouraged by obstacles, you'll start to see them as opportunities for learning and growth. You'll become more adaptable, able to pivot and adjust your approach as circumstances change. You'll also likely find that your progress becomes more consistent and sustainable. Rather than experiencing dramatic ups and downs, you'll see a steady upward trajectory in your personal and professional development. This consistency not only leads to better long-term results, but also contributes to a greater sense of confidence and self-efficacy. Perhaps most importantly, you'll develop a deeper sense of fulfillment and purpose in your pursuits. By aligning your efforts with your core values and continuously expanding your capabilities, you'll experience a sense of growth and progress that goes beyond mere achievement of external goals. Remember, sustaining growth isn't about reaching a final destination or achieving a state of perfection. It's about embracing the journey of continuous improvement, always striving to learn, grow, and evolve. It's about seeing every achievement not as an endpoint, but as a launching pad for the next level of mastery and impact. As you continue on this path of sustained growth, you're not just improving your skills or achieving your goals. You're cultivating a mindset and approach to life that will serve you well in whatever challenges and opportunities come your way. You're building the capacity to adapt, learn, and thrive in an ever-changing world. But as powerful as these strategies for sustaining growth are, they're just one piece of the puzzle when it comes to realizing your full potential and living a truly fulfilling life. In the next chapter, we'll explore a final, crucial element that ties everything we've discussed together. It's a perspective shift so profound that it has the power to transform not just how you approach your goals, but how you view your entire life journey. Are you ready to discover the ultimate secret to turning your aspirations into reality? Turn the page, and let's unveil the final key to unlocking your full potential and creating a life of continuous growth and fulfillment. Chapter 9, Press On. As we reach this final chapter, you've come a long way. You've explored the depths of your mindset, uncovered the secrets of motivation, and armed yourself with powerful performance tools. But there's one more crucial shift we need to make, a shift that will transform your entire approach to personal growth and success. Have you ever felt like you're constantly playing catch-up? Like no matter how hard you work or how much you achieve, there's always someone ahead of you, setting the bar just out of reach. This feeling of being perpetually behind can be exhausting and demoralizing. But what if I told you that this perspective is not just unhelpful, but fundamentally flawed? The truth is, success isn't a race against others. It's a journey of personal evolution, a continuous process of becoming the best version of yourself. This shift in perspective, from feeling behind to owning your personal growth journey, is the final key to unlocking your full potential. Let's start by examining the trap of external competition. In today's hyper-connected world, it's all too easy to fall into the comparison game. Social media feeds us a constant stream of others' highlight reels, making it seem like everyone else is leaping from success to success while we're struggling to take the next step. But here's the thing, everyone's journey is unique. Your path, with all its twists, turns, and apparent setbacks, is uniquely yours. When you measure your progress against others, you're not just setting yourself up for frustration, you're missing the point entirely. True success isn't about outpacing others. It's about consistent self-improvement. It's about being better today than you were yesterday and setting yourself up to be even better tomorrow. When you shift your focus from external competition to personal growth, something remarkable happens. The pressure eases. The constant anxiety of keeping up fades away, replaced by a sense of purpose and direction. This shift doesn't mean you stop setting ambitious goals or striving for excellence. On the contrary, it often leads to even greater achievements. Why? Because when you're focused on your own growth rather than beating others, you tap into a deeper, more sustainable source of motivation. Think about it. When your goal is to outperform others, what happens when you achieve it? You might feel a momentary surge of satisfaction, but it's quickly replaced by the pressure to stay ahead. There's always someone new to beat, always another rung on the ladder to climb. It's exhausting and ultimately unfulfilling. But when your goal is personal growth, every step forward is a victory. Every skill mastered, every challenge overcome, every insight gained is a cause for celebration. This focus on internal progress rather than external benchmarks leads to a profound sense of satisfaction and fulfillment. Moreover, this shift in perspective makes you more resilient in the face of setbacks. When you're competing against others, a setback feels like falling behind. But when you're focused on your own growth, a setback is just another opportunity to learn and improve. Now, let's talk about the power of persistence. If there's one factor that consistently separates those who achieve their goals from those who don't, it's not talent, intelligence, or even luck. It's persistence. Study after study has shown that long-term effort trumps initial ability. The tortoise really does beat the hare, not just in Aesop's fable, but in real life. This is because success in any field isn't about making one big leap. It's about taking small steps forward, day after day, year after year. Think about any skill you've mastered or any significant achievement in your life. Chances are, it didn't happen overnight. It was the result of consistent effort over time. This is the magic of persistence. It allows for compound growth. Just as compound interest can turn small savings into a fortune over time, compound growth in skills and knowledge can lead to extraordinary achievements. But persistence isn't always easy. There will be times when progress seems slow, when motivation wanes, when you hit plateaus that seem insurmountable. This is normal. Progress isn't always linear. There will be spurts of rapid growth followed by periods of apparent stagnation. The key is to understand that these plateaus are not failures. They're often necessary consolidation phases where your mind and body are integrating new skills and knowledge. During these times, it's crucial to maintain your habits and routines, to trust in the process, and to keep pressing forward, even when results aren't immediately visible. When you hit these slumps, it can be helpful to revisit your why, the deeper reasons behind your goals. Reconnect with your values and long-term vision. Sometimes you might need to adjust your approach or seek new challenges to reignite your motivation. Remember, it's not about perfection. It's about consistent effort and continuous learning. Now that we've shifted our perspective and embraced the power of persistence, let's talk about cementing these new habits and mindsets. Throughout this book, you've acquired a powerful toolkit for personal growth and achievement. You've learned about the growth mindset, discovered techniques for sustaining motivation, explored performance-enhancing strategies, and developed resilience in the face of setbacks. Take a moment to reflect on which of these tools have been most effective for you. Everyone's journey is unique, and what works best for one person might not be as effective for another. The goal now is to refine your personal toolkit, keeping what works best for you and adapting other techniques to better fit your needs. Consider how you can integrate these tools and strategies into your daily life for the long term. This might involve creating morning and evening routines that reinforce your growth mindset and goals. It could mean setting up regular check-ins with yourself or an accountability partner to review your progress and adjust your approach as needed. Remember, the goal isn't to achieve perfection in applying these techniques. It's to create a sustainable system for continuous growth and improvement. Be patient with yourself as you build these new habits. It takes time for new behaviors to become automatic, but with consistent practice, they will become an integral part of who you are. As we near the end of our journey together, I want to emphasize the importance of celebrating your progress. Too often, we're so focused on the road ahead that we forget to acknowledge how far we've come. But recognizing and celebrating your efforts and achievements, no matter how small they might seem, is crucial for long-term motivation and resilience. Take a moment right now to reflect on where you were when you started this book. Think about the insights you've gained, the shifts you've made in your thinking, the new habits you've begun to form. Acknowledge the effort you've put in, the challenges you've faced, and the growth you've experienced. This isn't just feel-good fluff. It's a powerful way to reinforce your progress and strengthen your commitment to continued growth. As you move forward from here, remember that self-improvement is a lifelong journey. There is no finish line, no point at which you can say, "I'm done growing." And that's something to be excited about. It means that no matter where you are in life, no matter what you've achieved or what setbacks you've faced, there's always the potential for growth, for new experiences, for becoming an even better version of yourself. Persistence is what will carry you forward on this journey. There will be days when you feel like you're making giant leaps forward, and days when it feels like you're trudging through mud. Both are part of the process. What matters is that you keep moving forward, keep learning, keep growing. Remember, you're not behind. You're exactly where you need to be on your unique journey. Every experience you've had, every challenge you've faced, every setback and every triumph has brought you to this point and prepared you for what's ahead. You have within you everything you need to create the life you desire. You have the mindset to embrace challenges as opportunities for growth. You have the motivation to pursue your goals with passion and purpose. You have the tools to perform at your best and the resilience to bounce back from setbacks. And now, you have the perspective to appreciate your journey and the persistence to press on, no matter what. As you close this book and step back into your life, carry with you this fundamental truth. You are capable of extraordinary growth and achievement, not because you're special or gifted or lucky, but because you have the power to choose growth, to choose persistence, to choose to press on day after day, regardless of external circumstances. Your journey of growth and achievement is just beginning. Armed with the insights and strategies from this book, you're prepared to face whatever challenges lie ahead. Remember, every step forward, no matter how small, is progress. Every setback is an opportunity to learn and grow stronger. And every day is a new chance to move closer to your goals and to becoming the person you aspire to be. So, press on, embrace the journey, celebrate your progress, and never, ever give up on your potential for growth and achievement. The best is yet to come, and it's waiting for you to step forward and claim it. Your future self is cheering you on, eager to see how far you'll go. But as you embark on this exciting path of personal development, you might encounter a new challenge: how to navigate complex decisions and outperform in competitive environments. What if there was a way to consistently stay ahead of the curve, to see opportunities where others see obstacles? The key lies in a skill that can exponentially amplify the strategies you've learned in this book. To unlock this game-changing ability and truly maximize your potential, dive into the audiobook, The Winning Mindset: How Critical Thinking Puts You Ahead of 99% of People. Tap the center of the video now to continue your transformation journey.